their expensive vehicles. People knew that it was a brand new building only because it had not been there at all a year before. It had been constructed in the fashionable style that suggests, without any need of time or wear, the verge of decay and collapse. With mounting excitement, Angel had awaited the security guard's familiar knock at the door of her apartment, and when it had come, she had opened the door, beaming with delight and effusively declaring it a very great honor indeed to welcome such an important guest into her home. But now, sitting in her living room and staring at the photograph that she held in her hand, all of her excitement fizzled suddenly and died. "As you know, Angel," the ambassador's wife was saying, "it's traditional to celebrate a silver wedding anniversary with a cake just like the original wedding cake. Amos and I feel it's so important to follow our traditions, especially when we're away from home." "That is true, Mrs. Ambassador," agreed Angel, who was herself away from home. But as she examined the photograph, she was doubtful of the couple's claim to the traditions they had embraced when choosing this cake 25 years ago. It was not like any traditional wedding cake she had seen in her hometown of Bukoba in the west of Tanzania or in Dar es Salaam in the east. No, this cake was traditional to Wazunga, white people. It was completely white, white with white patterns decorating the white. Small white flowers with white leaves encircled the outer edges of the upper surface, and 3 white pillars on top of the cake held aloft another white cake that was a smaller replica of the one below. It was, quite simply, the most unattractive cake that she had ever seen. Of course, Mr. and Mrs. Wanyika had married at a time when the style of Wazunga was still thought to be fashionable, prestigious even. But by now, in the year 2000, surely everybody had come to recognize that Wazunga were not the authorities on style and taste that they were once thought to be. Perhaps if she showed Mrs. Wanyika the pictures of the wedding cakes that she had made for other people, she would be able to convince the ambassador's wife of the beauty that colors could bring to a cake. Setting down the photograph, Angel removed her spectacles and, delving into the neckline of her smart blouse to retrieve one of the tissues that she kept tucked into her brassiere, began to give the lenses a good polish. It was something that she found herself doing without thinking whenever she felt that someone could benefit from looking at things a little more clearly. "Mrs. Ambassador, no words can describe the beauty of this cake," she began. "Yes, indeed," declared the ambassador's wife, leaving no space for what Angel was going to say next. "And at the party, right next to our anniversary cake, we're going to have a big photo of me and Amos cutting our wedding cake 25 years ago. So it's very important for the 2 cakes to be exactly identical." Angel put her glasses back on. There was clearly nothing to be gained from helping Mrs. Wanyika to see that her wedding cake had been ugly and plain. "Don't worry, Mrs. Ambassador. I'll make your anniversary cake exactly the same," she said, smiling widely to disguise the sigh of regret that she could not entirely prevent from escaping. "It will be just as beautiful as your wedding cake." Mrs. Wanyika clapped her meticulously manicured hands together in glee. "I knew I could depend on a fellow Tanzanian, Angel. People in Kigali speak very highly of your baking. Thank you, Mrs. Ambassador. Now perhaps I could ask you to start filling in an order form while I put milk on the stove for another cup of tea?" She handed her guest a sheet-headed cake order form that her friend Sophie had designed on her computer and her husband Pius had photocopied at the university. It asked for details of how to contact the client, the date and time that the cake would be needed, and whether Angel was to deliver it or the client would collect it. There was a large space to write in everything that had been agreed about the design of the cake, and a box for the total price and the deposit. At the bottom of the form was a dotted line where the client was to sign to agree that the balance of the price was to be paid on delivery or collection.